under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Committeeman McNow.
Here.
Committeeman Bartolomeo.
Here.
Committeeman Eastman.
Here.
Mayor Orgo.
Here. Approval of minutes from August 10th, 24th, and 30th. I think we got them separately, right?
there's a couple.
Yeah.
August 10th.
Yes.
Moving on this time, right?
Yeah, move on August 10th.
I'll move that.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman McNow.
Yes.
Committeeman Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Committeeman Eastman.
Yes.
Mayor Orgo.
Yes. August 24th.
I can move it.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Committeeman McNow.
Yes.
Committeeman Bartolomeo.
No. Not present.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Committeeman Eastman.
Yes.
Mayor Orgo.
Yes.
August 30th.
August 30th.
We're not voting both of them.
And we can't vote on them.
You can vote, one vote passes.
Then I move it. Second.
Hold on a second, guys.
Right, it should be like that way.
Yeah, I was here on the 24th. I apologize. I had the dates confused. I apologize.
Okay.
No problem, just mark the record for it.
Okay, yes.
You're affirmative vote then, right, Council?
Yes.
Okay.
I apologize. I didn't read them. I had my dates confused.
Okay. Vocals on the 30th. Okay. Committeeman McNow.
Yes.
Committeeman Bartolomeo.
Abstain.
Committeeman Eastman.
Yes.
Mayor Orgo.
Abstain.
All right, smells like a baseball team in here.
Do you want to go into a short summary about how they did and everything?
Yeah, sure. So this is the Colts Neck U10 Spring 2015 baseball team. We've been together for about 3 years now. And it's actually up in, I don't want to call it up and down season, but a fair season. I think our final record was like 5-4. Then we kind of picked it up for the playoffs. We had 3 playoff games. We played back-to-back one weekend, and then we played at home. And we beat Howell for the championship 4-1.
Very good. Congratulations. Mr. Mayor's proclamation, recognition of Colts Neck 10U Travel Baseball Champions. Whereas the 10U Travel Baseball League emphasizes discipline, teamwork, and leadership skills for all players and coaches. And whereas the Colts Neck 10U Travel Baseball Team lineup of Charles Whalen, Jason Capillari, Owen Gupta, Pearson Clark, I may not get this right, Desheva Kampong, Will Tensa, Alexander Moore, Christopher Montalval, Daniel Albano, Eric Kenda, and Laban Thompson completed in the spring 2016 baseball. And whereas the Colts Neck travel baseball team, led by coaches Chris Montalval, assistant coaches Eugene Golka, Stephen March, Joe Albano, and Grant Thompson, won a total of 3 playoff games. And whereas the 10U travel baseball team won the spring 2016 championship in the 10U National East Division. Now therefore it be proclaimed and resolved by the Mayor and the Township Committee of the Township of Colts Neck that I hereby recognize and commend the Colts Neck 10U Travel Team Leadership Coaches and parents for their dedication and their commitment to the youth of Colts Neck through all the travel baseball programs and activities. Gentlemen, if you would be so kind to turn around. There's one for each of you. What position you fill? Okay. Where do you fill? Anybody not here? Thank you. I think they want to take some pictures of you. Yeah, we got on the front step if you want to take pictures. A couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, 2-minute recess. John, you ready? Next, we're going to have a swearing in. Arthur Rasmus being promoted to lieutenant, and a new member, John Downer.
My understanding is we're going to do it individually, so. All right. Yeah, well, that's what they asked for, right? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on up. You gonna hold the Bible? He's gonna hold the Bible. Too heavy for you? Both hold it together. All right, so both stand. Now, you turn around and go right in there. Turn around. Right, like that. Okay? You hold the Bible. You put your left hand on it, raise your right hand. Now repeat after me. I, and your name.
I, Arthur Rasmus,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established
established
in the United
in the
States
United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of
Lieutenant,
Lieutenant,
Fire Police,
Fire Police,
Township of Colts Neck,
Township of Colts Neck,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Thanks, guys.
Attention orders. Attention. Attention with your bars. Sergeant? In your badge.
I can arrange. Oh, you guys are better. Right over the left hand, right? Okay. And now repeat after me. I
I, John Dano,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of
member, fire police,
Fire Police,
Township of Colts Neck,
Township of Colts Neck,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I want to thank the Township Committee for their hospitality. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
November 24th, we are doing a First Responders Day at Colts Neck High School. Fire, police, Earl, everybody.
Mayor, if you indulge me for a minute,
Yes.
I just want to thank the committee. Since I first started as a fire policeman, it's changed considerably, and a lot of that goes to the Township Committee. It's provided us with the best equipment in the county. We're now the best trained in the county, and both houses and both fire departments are presided as presidents of both the fire and police. So it's changed considerably. It would have never happened without the committee providing us with the equipment and the dedication of the members taking the training. And as I indicated, we are the best trained in the county and the best equipped. Thank you very much.
You're all welcome to stay, you know.
Ordinance 2016-16, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 102, Article 6, 202-46.5 of the Code of Township of Colts Neck entitled Wireless Telecommunications Towers and Antennas. The state has passed a bunch of new laws where we don't have to govern every item on cell towers anymore. And it's given us new guidelines. So what we've done is we've put them into our township building ordinances so that it's already in there so that it doesn't overlap, double, miss something, hopefully. Any comments? Open it to the public. Seeing no one, close it to the public. Motion to approve?
Move.
Roll call?
David Metcalf?
Yes.
David Bartlett?
Yes.
David Eastman?
Yes.
Mayor Ordo?
Yes. Ordinance number 2016-17, ordinance amending and revising Chapter 120 firearms of the Code of Township of Colts Neck. This is second reading also. This is changing the 5-acre rule down to 3-acre rule and giving the farmer, whoever rents the township farmland, the right to take care of the deer if they have a problem or any other pet, groundhogs or whatever. But they have to have written permission and everything, so then they have to come forward and ask them to us. Any comments from anybody? Open it to the public.
Just don't forget to say your name.
I'm just great idea.
No, but identify who you are, so Beth knows who's speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should know better. I've been down this road before. Alan Ryan, 24 Main Street.
Thank you. Close the public hearing. Motion to approve. Move. Roll call.
David Metcalf?
Yes.
David Bartlett?
Yes.
David Eastman?
Yes.
Mayor Ordo?
Yes. Motion 2016-110, a resolution authorizing the participation in municipal shared services defense agreement to retain Nassau Capital Advisors LLC for third round affordable housing obligations.
This is our economic advisor for our COA litigation defense. I don't want to go into any more detail as to specifics about what we're using them for, but they're hitting the economic aspect of our defense. I'll move it.
I'll second. And it's shared services with other towns and shared.
Yeah. No, this is ours. This is ours.
Roll call.
That's six.
Committeeman McNeil,
Yes.
Committeeman Bartolomeo,
Yes.
Committeeman
This
Eastman,
is shared services.
Shared services.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's shared.
Yes.
Mayor Ordo.
Yes.
Did you get me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
You say yes, or you say no. Resolution 2016-111, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to a third-party power supplier to provide electric cogeneration service to Colts Neck Community Energy Aggregation Round 2 programs participants to provide government energy aggregation services in connection with the CNCEA Round 2 program pursuant to NJAC 14-4-6. Can you explain it or what?
Yeah, so we did the energy aggregation 2 years ago. It worked out well. We saved some money. I don't think anybody got rich, but we saved some money and it didn't cost us anything to do it. The time's up. We're here again to do it again. Thanks for coming, guys. For our vendor, Gavale Associates, who's represented here today, we priced this out again, and we found, based on the terms and stipulations that we insist on, the principal one of which is that we get an opt-out if we need it. The best price that we've gotten is a 24-month contract. You want to just give the exact number, but I don't have it in front of me.
Correct. The supplier is Triangle Energy. It would be a 24-month contract that would start concurrent with the end of the Con Edison contract. The price is about 8.93 cents, so it will reduce the current Con Ed price by about 3% more. The savings will be initially, additional 3% below the Con Ed price. The initial savings will be about 12% below the JCPL tariff. We think the tariff's going to go down a little bit next year, so the savings over the life of the contract, we think, will be about 9%, which will be about $300 per resident.
Average household.
Average household over the 24-month term, about $13 a month. And as you indicated, this offer includes the contract provision that they would provide the township with the option to renegotiate or terminate the contract in the very unlikely event that the JCPL tariff actually dropped low enough that was below this contract. So it gives you all the protections that you've been looking for. The price is a further reduction from the current contract, and it would be a 2-year contract, so you've got 2 years of price stability.
Excellent.
And anyone can opt out at any time if they don't think they've gotten a better deal. You're automatically in, you can't opt out.
And I believe if you've opted out, you can opt back in.
Right, so anyone who opted out during the initial 30-day opt-out period in round 1, they have been removed from the program, but they are allowed to opt in if they change their mind. But anyone else, the rest of the residents are included, but they all have the ability to opt out initially or at any time during the contract if they want, without any repercussions or penalties or fees.
It's a no-lose program for most people, but there are some exceptions, and most people, I think, are aware of people that are on payment plans and things of that nature, and that have other special arrangements with JCP. And they know who they are, and they've opted out already. But by and large, there's zero downside for residents. You don't even realize it probably that you're saving a couple of bucks a month, but saving $300 is better than paying an extra $300. That's the way we look at it. And you don't have to do it. Motion?
Roll call.
Committeeman McNeil, Committeeman McNeil,
Yes.
Committeeman Bartolomeo,
Yes.
Committeeman Eastman,
Yes.
Mayor Ordo.
Yes. Consent agenda. Resolution 2016-112, authorizing the refund of tax overpayment for 2016 third quarter, Block 20, Lot 2.1, and Block 20, Lot 2.12. That is, I checked into this. I said, how can these people get all these refunds? What happened was it closed, and they paid the tax. The mortgage company paid the tax, and then when they closed it, they got paid twice. So, when it comes up with a Q, it means farmland. Resolution 2016-113, confirming appointment to the Historical Preservation Committee, Mr. James C. Schatz. Resolution 2016-114, appointing Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics, Ms. Linda Stagliano. Resolution 2016-115, authorizing acceptance of special performance guarantee for Block 5301, Lot 6, 91 Overy Road. Comments? I got one comment. Okay, historical, we still have 2 more openings.
I think they have one place to put the young gentleman in town. He's not here yet, they're trying to get him on the docket for next month.
Okay. Motion? Roll call.
Mayor Maxwell?
Yes.
Mayor Bartlett?
Yes.
Mayor Eastman?
Yes.
Mayor Wojciechowski?
Yes. Administrative report. That's one reason probably we're late. Kathleen's sick tonight. The only thing we have on there is we have to vote on Rockfest to have we have their liquor license, their liquor insurance today, to have Rockfest. So we have to approve that. They still don't have their permit from the tenant. They didn't get that yet, but hopefully by Friday.
Well, I think the vote is just to allow them to, that BYOB event.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, I'm,
Yes, you're in one.
and no problem.
Just a my vote.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
I have nothing else from Kathleen. Anybody?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Meeting Bartlett and I jointly reviewed the vouchers totaling $1,715,560.21. Found them to be in order with one exception that I pulled out, small one having to do with insurance premium that I want to check on just to make sure it is consistent with some recent adjustments to our insurance policies. But otherwise, I found them to be in order.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mayor Maxwell?
Yes, except to abstain for securities.
Mayor Bartlett?
Yes.
Mayor Eastman?
Yes.
Mayor Wojciechowski?
Yes. Township committee reports. You are just short, right?
Nothing's ever short. So I have a couple of things. I'm going to start with one that'll just brighten everybody's day. I know. So for those that have been around for a little bit of time, and we did want you to find this out through us rather than through some other source such as the media. For those that have been around for a while, there was a protracted period of time in which Colts Neck fought to keep civilian housing off of Naval Weapons Station Earl. Well, guess what? We're back. They're back. They've notified us that the Department of the Navy, the DoD, has requested, authorized, told, whatever the language you want to use, to make available existing housing stock on base, which is limited at this point. They're telling me 20 units at this juncture, to the public, to civilians. Prior to that, we were aware that they were going to make the base housing available to other active military, to retired military cadets, to the DoD employees, and to some other people that already enjoyed some classification that were secure folks to live on the base. But now, unfortunately, we're back to where we were. So the township is going to get back to where we were in 2009 and start looking at what's going on and probably involve council again, the same one we've already been in contact, and find out what we need to do, both from a litigation perspective if we need to, and from a political perspective and any other perspectives that we need to exercise, just as the township committee did 10 years ago, or however long it was, to deal with the situation. And by the way, at the time, we looked at the old documents today. That litigation was resolved with an edict, if you will, from the Department of Defense that the contracting developer on the base would not have the right to have civilian housing on the base. It was done by just a dictate from the Department of the Navy, just telling them they couldn't do that. I think there was some financial compensation involved that didn't involve the township, but that's how that ended. And we're not really sure why things have changed again. I assume money might be involved, but we'll find out. This just happened. What's today? Monday. This happened on Monday. I found this out. I'm not even sure Tinton Falls knows yet, because Tinton Falls isn't going to be happy either. So we're on it. We're aware of it. We're working on it. Spent a considerable amount of time today on it and yesterday. And we'll keep working on it, and we'll keep you advised of the status of what's going on with that. So, big issue. I do have a statement to read as it relates to some recent articles in the paper regarding Oprah. On this particular subject, it's all we're going to comment on today because of prospective litigation. Oprah request recently filed with the Township of Colts Neck sought production of the written factual findings and recommendations of hearing officer, retired Superior Court Judge Robert O'Hagan, rendered in conjunction with the disciplinary action taken by the Township against Police Chief Kevin Sauter. The requests put the Township in a classic catch-22 situation. Although personnel records are generally not subject to Oprah, Chief Sauter's request that the matter of his disciplinary hearing and the subsequent opinion by the hearing officer be discussed in public conveyed that Chief Sauter was in fact waiving his rights to Oprah protection. In the absence of clear legal guidance from the courts, the Township was left with two choices: deny the requests and face lawsuits by the requesters, or produce the document and likely face a lawsuit by Chief Sauter. The Township, in hopes of avoiding exposing taxpayers to damages, sought guidance from the courts by filing a declaratory judgment action to determine if it was legally obligated to produce the document. The court indicated that it was unlikely to entertain Colts Neck's request for a legal determination. As a result, the Township dismissed the lawsuit and was forced to make a disposition of the Oprah requests, notwithstanding the lack of clarity in the law. As such, the Township made a determination that the document should be produced. Colts Neck is mindful of the protection afforded public employees by Oprah. However, under the circumstances, it believed that Chief Sauter waived that protection. And secondarily, as some of you may also know from the media, Chief Sauter has instituted a lawsuit against the Township, in effect an appeal of the suspension that he has already served. Also, on behalf of the Township Committee, we're not going to comment on that particular litigation for that reason, as well as any further comments on the Oprah issue, for the same reason. That's it for me. Is that it?
So I attended the Recreation Committee meeting, which was an interesting event because they were concerned as they spend down their allotment for upkeep and maintenance of the fields that it would be used for other purposes, be it the budget cut. And they made me swear that if the budget got tight, that we wouldn't bump into their funds because they're really excited about how good the fields look and how much better they can make them. So I told them I'm only one vote, but I pledged my trough to the fund for seeding and for fertilizer.
That's what I'm calling it.
Oh, yeah, I'll go back. Just one quick update on Pella. The Supreme Court, New Jersey Supreme Court granted an application for certification related to that gap issue that we talked about a number of times for the regulars. That is the briefing. Actually, they're scheduled to hear argument in their next term, which I believe is November 29, 30. And at least on that particular issue, that they'll issue a decision. I don't know if it'll be before the end of the year. Our attorney will be submitting a brief on behalf of the township, expressing our position, our views on that particular subject and perhaps others. We're still very much active in what's going on, and we continue to prepare for trial from our expert.
Although it's expedited, although we're on an expedited schedule with the Supreme Court, I don't know that anything they do is that expedited.
Yeah.
Although a lot of the briefs in and people prepared for were hard, and I don't know if that's the case for the individuals.
Yes?
Attended a bunch of meetings, the school being one of them. They're back in session, they're rocking and rolling. There was a lot of security measures put in over the over the summer for our children's safety. 121 new students enrolled in our school system this year. That brings us 11 shy of last year's number. So a little bit of a nice shift for our population in our 3 younger schools. My notes are not as organized as I'd like them, so Mr. Orwell may be reprimanding me after the meeting. Historical Foundation. Everyone get out your pencil. The Christmas at Montrose is supposed to be December 11th. They're shooting for the 11th. It is a nice function. They bring in Santa Claus, they got some carolers, hot chocolate and such. There's going to be a time for a grant for a little bit of improvement up there. Sad to report that the tree that has been donated to us numerous times by Mr. Brock is once again dead, which happens to be a Christmas tree. So they are going to track down a new tree and plant that and see if the Department of Works would help and assist in water. Talk to Mr. Orwell about that after the meeting. Soccer. Opening day was Saturday. It was very, very well attended. It was a great event. We had the ROTC from the high school do the national anthem, which was a very nice touch. Man, I'm having a hard time. It's been a long day. Echoing Mr. Eastman's comments, the fields look wonderful. There's a lot of personal touch being added to our fields from a lot of dads in conjunction with the Sports Foundation, in conjunction with coaches and so on and so forth. There's 3 items I want to touch on, and Mayor Orwell will probably elaborate. We had a wonderful 9/11 ceremony here on Sunday in recognition of 9/11. If anyone that is here attended, I think you appreciated it. I certainly did. Again, not to take any of Mayor Orwell's thunder, because he was the man behind the scenes. This facility has gotten a facelift that I believe makes it look infinitely younger than as long as I've been here, and I've talked to some elder people in town, and they seem to think the same. So the mayor definitely deserves a little recognition there, because he was the push behind that, and we hope to maintain that. Last but not least, one other thing, I apologize. I lost it. Again, I'm not organized tonight, I apologize. Oh, and you could talk about the wonderful event that we went to, the information that we received.
I still can't remember those yesterday.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we did attend. It's been a bad week. Sunday night we had the 9/11 thing. It was beautiful. It was quite the thing. For 1 hour, it was more than I expected it to be.
Bulletin.
Yeah, it was well attended. About 250. It was really good. Next Tuesday is the CNBA's Pig Roast. If anyone wants to go to it at Bucks Mill Park, 6 o'clock, right, Greg? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
6:30?
Go to 6 o'clock. You got your time all set up. You got Rock Fest next Friday and Saturday. Not this Friday, Saturday.
23rd, 24th. 23rd and 24th, right?
Yeah. A week from this Friday.
Week from this Friday.
All right. Monday night we had farmland preservation. We had a pretty good meeting. We got everybody to show up, but we're getting closer to getting Crystal Brook's farmland preserved. It should be preserved. Probably not going to happen until the first of the year. I got an update today. Monmouth County and the state, since their trust fund has stopped, the Highway 34, 537 thing will not even go to bid till after the first of the year, May. hope to start it by the spring. So it might be another year.
What about the 34th thing actually? Is there any more last time?
Right. Yeah, they're gonna, if you notice, if you go westbound on 537, right by Creamery Road, they got cones and a steel plate out there. They're gonna pave over that. We talked about it today, because if the snow plows ever hit it or somebody comes in, that steel plate will be slippery, so they're gonna pave right over top of that whole thing. They're gonna get back to me on Hillsdale Road. It doesn't look like it's gonna get fixed this year, but it's gonna get paved so that, because there's an asphalt difference between here and that concrete bridge like that. So that'll be ready for the winter. Because Creamery Road's not getting done now. Slope Brook down by Mary Ann's, where that pipe goes under the ground, that's not gonna get done. So you probably won't see that till next spring. It's scheduled for November. Last night was planning board, everything went there in 5 minutes, so that was over with. That's the end of my reports.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, and that's about farmland preservation. If we get an application, do we need anything from this body in order to make a site visit? We have to take that resolution?
No.
Okay.
No, you want those, no, I want to do it.
Okay.
We have another farm looking at it right now, but I can't discuss it yet. But they're in the works.
Mayor,
What?
I have one other thing. This one's important. Senior citizens, there is an Alzheimer's support group that meets on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the library.
That's why you forgot it.
But that's why I forgot it. Thanks, Greg. And the Women's Club is hosting an indoor yard sale also at the library, 9/16 and 9/17 from 9 to 3. They're hosting their Christmas party on 12/19. You're in Bucks Mill? I told you my notes were not nice this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, Greg.
I have a question for Russ, now that the Earl thing is sort of right.
But we're not the public yet.
No, I just have a question.
Yeah.
This question is two.
No.
No,
We're not going to go public.
If you show up more often, you can.
We got all.
I got nobody else on.
If you notice, there's 2 cameras up here now for security. We've also put security on the front door so nobody can walk into the back door anymore. It's just another way to get a handle on things of what's going on. All right? Public comment.
Go ahead,
Route 34 at Coltsnet. On Mr. McNow's new revelation about the 20,000 units at Earl, I just wanted to say that Mr. Fulton Wilcox last time did the numbers on Earl, and it was through the support of Congressman Smith who brought the GAO down to our public library.
Just so you know, we've already reached out to the Congressman's office, so we're...
Okay, I'm just saying that that was very important because Congress made a decision to buy out those units, and the Senate also did. So it was really a legislative effort. Wasn't much legal, but that was okay. We covered our grounds on that one. On 20 units, who owns the units?
Same contractor.
Same contractor. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, same contractor. Balfour Payne.
Okay, that's all I want.
If that triggers a flashback in anybody's mind, Balfour Payne.
Right. Now I'd like to talk about something else, please, if I could. I have 2 other comments. Recently, I was at the Public Works, and I noticed that we only have 1 mechanic up there, and we don't have a lead mechanic. And the lead mechanic usually does all the paperwork for OSHA and everything. Why don't we have a lead mechanic up there?
Well, I assume, and I can't answer that question for sure, but I assume that the paperwork is being done by the second mechanic. I assume. I'll have to check into it. I don't know. I know he had an assistant. The assistant got sick or hurt. He's out, so I don't know. We use shared services with Monmouth County. We send stuff up there.
Okay. And I would like to point out to the governing body and the residents of Coltsnet how much having a volunteer fire department and a volunteer first aid squad save the residents in taxes annually. For example, if you had 20 volunteer firefighters and 20 volunteer first aiders, it costs us about $2,000 per person per volunteer versus 20 firefighters and first aid people making 50 grand per year per individual with an additional 20,000 per in benefits. Why would this amount of savings and the high demand placed on our volunteers, training, drills, getting up at all hours and responding, etc., why are they expected to fundraise to pay for departmental needs instead of the community realizing the bargain they are getting and properly funding our volunteer fire departments and first aid squad? They hate fundraising, and I would imagine find it insulting that they must raise money to purchase necessary equipment to do their job.
There's a statutory cap on municipal donation, on municipal funding.
That's number one. Number two, that money's not used for equipment.
I want to continue, please.
Okay?
It is necessary to keep our residents safe. Why don't the police, DPW, or the committee fundraise for their necessary equipment? What would the governing body do if these volunteers stopped fundraising? What would the community do if they had to pay firefighters and first aid personnel? Volunteers join both departments to help our residents of Colts Neck. They do a great job, not fundraisers. The fundraiser throughout the year is to pay in some cases for their buildings, maintenance, keep heat and lights on, and in some cases purchase new rigs, as the volunteer first aid squad does. The volunteer EMS services are enabling the community. They are giving us a false sense of security, operating on a hand-to-mouth fundraising budget. Without a stable income, our EMS departments cannot really plan or grow. And when growth, and it doesn't have to be major growth, just a slow, steady improvement, and when that stops, these agencies start to wither and die. We are now in the withering stage. In the coming year, I hope we can resolve this at the budget hearing and formulate a plan to save our volunteers. Our surrounding communities have imposed a tax, about $100 per year per resident, because not everybody donates to both of these volunteer groups. If we impose $100 per year per household, we could bring in about $100,000 to be divided between the two fire companies and the first aid squad. And it's only $25 per quarter. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Football guys, I need to go over. Just going back to just clarify on the municipal shared service defense agreement for the economic studies. I mean, the economics of this whole thing aren't particularly Colts Neck. And I thought you were
Somewhere.
well, I mean, obviously, the literal, what a lot is worth in a density and all that. But I mean, are these cooperative studies? Are these independent studies? Is there any sharing in this?
Yeah, and this particular one is a shared one. We have our own independent economic advisor.
You have a what?
We have our own economic advisor as well.
Okay, so you're going to do an independent study as opposed to Rumson and all the other towns.
We're looking,
I mean,
again, the idea is not to give tip the hand to the other side, and I know
okay.
most folks here are townsfolk. I recognize just about everybody here, but there are things that we're looking at from an economic perspective that are unique not only to Colts Neck, but also from a potential revenue perspective.
Are these
I'm
studies,
saying enough without saying a lot.
are these studies end up being public?
When I get make their way into court, they will be.
So if you don't use them, they're not public.
This, what they voted on tonight though, is the shared services. It's a maximum of $16,500. It's for the region 4 municipalities, which are in the region 4 makes up parts of 3 different counties.
Okay.
This is a $1,000 maximum for each one. This is not going to have any data unique to Colts Neck itself. This particular one is a shared services collective one. There may, I think they actually have hired one that is preparing the data for the support of the individual
So
municipalities.
the same group, you mean, might do something different?
I I don't think it's the same.
group.
And it's the same group. This,
If I said that, I was mistaken.
right, this one is solely for the collective group one. There is a separate one that had previously been hired by resolution that is being done preparing the economic reports for this town independently of anybody
Okay.
else.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Greg,
Russ, question going back to the nuts that are all
right, yeah, name and address.
Gregory Keller, Highway Drive. Does Tidden Falls still have hold the obligation for the schooling of the civilian population?
As of today, the school-age children there, the K through 8, are continuing to be educated in Tidden Falls. Still their obligation. The high school kids are now going to Frill Regional,
Just close that guys.
which is close to high school. That was an arrangement between Frill Regional and
That's just recent, right? That's something that just
a
happened.
couple months ago, yeah.
But the K through 8 is Tidden Falls.
I think it was 5 students.
Yeah, it's fine. But the K through 8 is still Tidden Falls obligation.
Correct.
Mr. Sauter.
Yes, Jeff Sauter, 41 Ann Street, Colts Neck. A few comments, but Mayor, just dovetailing right off of what your committeeman Mac now was talking about, just generally Oprah. I just wanted to recap a little bit for you guys, and I know you guys all know the details, but there's some new faces here in the public that maybe they also might want to hear, particularly as it relates to OPRA, the Open Public Records Act, and what it stands for, transparency and openness of government. As of today, because I do make OPRA requests like many other citizens here, just to fact check you guys, and sometimes those facts come back good, sometimes those facts don't come back good, sometimes nothing comes back, which then leads to complaints being made either to the GRC, or you can file these lawsuits with, Superior Court and go that route. But as of today, there's 6 complaints pending before the GRC that I have involving the Township of Colts Neck. 2 of those 6 are pending, in which the records, interim orders have been issued against the town, and the records right now haven't been produced, so I guess they're just missing or wherever they are. But both those cases are pending hearing still for a knowing and willful violation of that law. We have one that was recently, as you guys know, was recently closed, in which the GRC, the Government Records Council that oversees these complaints and issues, closed it with, in essence, saying the records are lost. They couldn't, I guess, be found. Again, not good for you, not good for me, not good for the public, since you are the stewards of our records. And what I kind of say is one of your cardinal responsibilities is to maintain records and be open and transparent. We also have 2 that are still pending. All the paperwork have been filed. Again, records have not been produced. And then 1 more recently has been filed, which happens to involve our police chief. And yes, I'm related to the police chief, and yes, Committeeman Mack now will probably yell and scream at me and say I'm here defending the police chief, when I've been coming here years before this tiff between either you against the chief or the chief against you. That's not my fight, that's the chief's fight with you guys. But as it relates to that, because I'm interested, obviously, in OPRA requests and seeing these documents and the costs associated with that the town and the taxpayers are footing here. And I get invoices that are redacted, names redacted, just on invoices. So obviously, council and labor attorneys are talking to probably everyone sitting up at that table, but we got to redact the names. It's not like some double top secret legal advice that's happening, though I guess because Committeeman Fitzgerald and Committeeman Mack now sometimes do give legal advice, which again is not good, and that's what we pay our counsel to do, but they do give their advice, is why redact? What are you hiding? You know, that's just what I get. What are you guys hiding with this, with these information? I also want to talk a little bit about, this is closed, but it took like 6 months for you guys to finally talk, you know, close it, is the ACLU. You know, you censor 2 comments of mine, not one, but not twice. So what are you hiding? Why do you got to censor? Just let the public speak. You know, that's what we want to do. We're at town hall here to speak. But you guys want to censor to maybe hide something. And then, worse yet, 2, you go, and not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 times you guys botch the meeting minutes. That again, record what happens in public. A cardinal responsibility to get it right. And you botched it, and the ACLU had to come in and fix it. But worse yet, did you, not that, you know, you botched it, that you maybe left something out, but you put stuff in that never happened. Actions or words or statements that never happened. So as I say, you're not trying to hide history, you're trying to like recreate your own history for some reason. I don't know what you guys or what your agenda is, but what are you hiding? Just be open. That's all we're asking for. But, you know, as it talks, as Committeeman Mack now read the statement as it relates to the police chief in town, he asked, and I said this to you before, right after the April, whatever it was, 28th hearing that we had before this Judge O'Hagan, and that first public meeting after. Hey, if the guy asked it to be public, let it out. If it's his dirty laundry, it's his dirty laundry. So why fight it? Why go and spend, I don't know, how many more thousands of dollars that you spend going to town, going to Superior Court to get to stop the release of this? It's not about you guys. I don't think, well, I shouldn't say it's not about you guys, because there were some accusations that I heard the chief's attorney made about Committeeman Mack now, and possibly falsifying certifications and whatever. So I don't know, maybe you guys do have something to hide there too. I don't know. But you're my committee. You represent us, the people of Colts Neck. Just let it out if that's what the chief wanted. You know, it all appears that you guys are always hiding, concealing, lack of transparency. I said this to you before. That's where corruption hides behind. You know, in dark places. Be open and transparent to the people. That's all I've been asking for. That's all I want. But every corner for the last, I don't know how many years, no, we can't find that document. No, we can't find that. We can't find this. That's missing. That's lost. Take us to court. Go this. Do that. All the GRC complaints and the ACLU through the end of June, maybe through the end of May, because I have been keeping up and I do have to submit another Oprah request on cost. $75,000 you guys cost in fighting that. $10,000 a month ago as it relates to fighting the police chief over 5 days. 5 days. What's that cost the taxpayers? And I have submitted another Oprah request to update those financial figures, and believe me, those are conservative. You guys, I know the exact numbers. I just get invoices that are redacted, you know, and I'm trying to figure out what's going to what so I can figure out what goes into what bucket in terms of what you're costing the taxpayers. You guys are spending loads of money in taxpayer funds for fighting COA, you know, whatever it may be. And some of those fights that you have, and even now with Naval Weapons Station Earl, that's probably a good thing. But I tell you, the GRC stuff, that's going to probably tap over 100. The tiff with the chief, that's going to probably be, when that's all said and done, that's going to probably be another $30,000, $40,000 in taxpayers. That's just to resolve the 5 days, let alone if he's going to sue or something else, and what the taxpayers are going to be footing there. I think it'd be much more better you put that money where you really maybe need it, for COA and Earl, which may be some big important issues that really impact everyone in this town. You know, the roads where you guys kicked the can down the road so many times, and I'm glad to see that you're finally doing road projects. But I'm sure that money could have done a lot of roads in town. So I'm all done. I got no other further comment unless you guys have a comment from me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Alan?
Alan Ryan, 24 Ann Street. First off, the 9/11 memorial, I was there. I've been a fireman in this town for 23 years. Very proud to be a member of the fire department, and the town really, they did really right by that day and that memorial. I was touched. It was very, very nice. It was well done. That's number one. Number two, you said 20 units on the Earl.
That's what I was told.
Okay. On the first round, can you just tell me how many were in the first round? I'm sorry to bring up old history, but I just wanted to get up to date.
So I don't know the exact numbers personally because I wasn't here at the time. I don't think any of us were here at the time. But I know that there were two phases to that dispute. The first, and maybe Mr. Wilcox has a better memory than I do, but there were two phases. The initial phase involved the plan to construct additional units. So I think the first time we found out about, this is in the mid-2000s sometime, we found out about it because somebody saw some construction equipment on the base, said what's going on, and we learned that they intended to construct new housing on the base. And then, so that got dealt with initially, and then there was the litigation over using existing housing to house civilians on the base. And that's the one that I was referring to earlier that resolved with the intervention of Congressman Smith, and there was a lot of people, to give everybody credit, we had a residents organization in town called No, they were heavily involved, we had elected officials involved, we had lawyers involved, we had the governing body at the time involved. Again, I was only peripherally involved at the time, but that's, there could have been a considerable amount of units. But don't forget, historically, when Earl's mission was a different mission than it is today, there were 2,000 people living on that base. Our population in this town was a different population. We had another 2,000 people. So tying back into the school comment, I remember who made the school comment, Greg, it was you. But the potential impact on the schools, depending on what would have happened, if we were obligated to educate them, could be somewhat drastic. So, but the main issue for us has always been security, because those houses are in Colts Neck.
Right.
And they're not, and when I say in Colts Neck, they are just on the other side of the perimeter fence.
Gotcha. One other question on the resolution authorizing the participation in shared services. Mr. Bennett, you said there's 16 towns, is that correct?
Well, it says not to exceed $16,500.
That's what, okay, I thought you said 16, okay.
No town is to contribute more than 1,000. So I don't just know how many towns are in it.
All right, that was going to be my next question, how many were there? Okay. Is it Monmouth County towns only, or did you say?
No, I said it was multiple.
It is multiple throughout the state, okay.
No, through the Region 4. See, COA is based on different regions, and your numbers as to what the minimum, what the low income and moderate income stages are based on the areas. So Region 4 would have different economic numbers to determine what the income level is for a family to qualify for lower moderate than somebody up in Hudson County, for instance. That would be a different region and would have other factors taken into consideration. This particular one is Region 4, and just give me 1 second. Huh?
Who's in the region?
It's the 4 counties. It's Monmouth, it's a part of the Northern Ocean,
Middlesex.
and Middlesex. Yeah, it might be. Was that enough, or do you I mean, I'll find more.
You know what, Mr. Bennett, that's fine. You answer the questions.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
On the units, I believe it was 200 in that range. Okay?
I thought it was 300.
It was 300.
It is 300, right.
It was like 347, I think.
The other concern that was generally The grades at the time and will be again was the slippery slope, where does it stop? So, I mean, it was 200, 300 at the time, but what's to stop them? I mean, there's a lot of acreage there, what's to stop them from building additional housing and bringing more folks onto the base? So, and we have that same concern now. There's nothing really to stop anybody from building there if the DOT gives them the go-ahead to do it.
Once the precedence is set out, it's fine.
I have one other question in reference to having the grounds fixed on that shared services. Was there a cost
Yes.
involved? And could you tell us what the cost was?
I haven't received a bill, but somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000.
That was a bargain. And I heard that they might be doing Bucks Middle also.
No,
No?
not that I know of anyhow. No, they're doing, we may have them do trees, we're waiting on the estimate right now, on Clover Hill Road and Clover Hill Lane.
They're very
If anybody sees trees that you think are dangerous, please contact Kathleen or leave a message or something, or get a hold of somebody who knows a shade tree. Because we don't want to have another accident like we had a year or so ago. And there's just too many streets to cover, and, you know, if you see something, you see a big dead branch or something, call somebody, call one of us, call town hall, and just tell them where it's at. Get it, if you can get a pole number or an address, that would be the best thing we can do to help us right now. Because we want to take care of it. Right now, they're starting to pick up brush, and if anybody's aware, we changed the zones this year. Your recycling zone and your brush pickup and leaf pickup, all the same zones now, so you might have changed. We sent paperwork in, but you know when your recycling is? That's the same week for brushes, or your leaves. All right, come on, one more.
Sorry, right, now that you brought up brush and leaf pickup, on our roll-offs, when we take it to the place to be dumped, other towns have crushers. So our units, we pay per truckload, is that not correct?
For what?
For the leaves.
Leaves, yes.
And we all know leaves are light, okay? Other towns are taking one load and it takes us, we pay for 3 loads because we don't have a crusher? Okay, just wanted,
We're working on that right now.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
One more, Alan Ryan, 24 Young Street. You had said about Hillsdale, you're going to be paving there. On the next round that you spoke about, that's going to come up again through the county in January, was that going to be on that list also, or not?
Run that by me again?
The Hillsdale, you said Hillsdale, you're going to be...
Hillsdale, they're gonna have, where the bridge is out, where the 5-ton limit is now. You know where that's at?
Okay,
Past the winery, down there where Big Brook is.
okay.
That bridge is coming apart and the road is settled. And they're gonna pave it so that the road comes up and you can drive across it. They don't think they're gonna get it fixed. It's got a 5-ton limit on it. So they're gonna fix it, but it's up to the county one. Look how long it took them to get Montrose done. They got it done. As long as it doesn't cost us anything, let them fix it. Anyone else?
Thank you.
With that, we close the public. Resolution 2016-118, executive session. We do not expect to come back out.
Second.
Voice. All in favor?
Aye.